All right, so today we're going to be talking about 4 different exercises that you can do for your chest and triceps using a TRX. Now, a lot of people think about exercises as working your back and biceps, your chest and triceps, or arms and abs. Whatever you may think of, yes, I understand. That's how you like to work out. That's not how we like to do that here at General Fitness Company. We like to really work the whole body, more functional. However, what can I say? We do it for the clicks. So here's some chest and tricep exercises that you can do using a TRX. First exercise is a fairly simple exercise. In fact, it's pretty much like the first exercise from our previous video, which was the back and biceps video. I think the link will be up there for it. But anyways, it's an easy exercise. You pretty much just grab the straps with the mid row. It's the opposite of the press. In the mid row, you're going to be facing the anchor point. The press here, you're going to be facing away from the anchor point, but starting with your arms relatively close to your rib cage, you're going to be lowering your body down so that your chest goes in between your hands. Now, the great part about this is that pretty much anybody can execute it. You can start from almost an upright position, and as you get stronger, you work your way back into the anchor point. Another great thing is that because you're using handles, you can get a little bit more hypertrophy through your pecs. All right, so meaning that you get a little bit more of a stretch in your pecs, and that leads to strengthening those pecs. The more you can lengthen the load on any movement, the more you can grow your muscles. So, yeah, it's a little bit better than a push-up. Obviously not as great as a bench press, but definitely a lot safer for all of your joints. So definitely suggest that. Now, when you're doing that movement, you're definitely working your triceps. You'll feel that pecs for sure, and you get a little bit of your lat muscles. You also get some abdominals and back. You know, abdominals, back. That's pretty much any TRX exercise. So definitely suggest that if you're trying to pump those pecs up. All right, next exercise. We're going right into those arms. We're doing what's called a skull crusher. Now, a skull crusher is pretty much how it sounds. You look like you're going to be crushing your skull. You start with your arms out full extension. You're going to be bending your elbows. You're going to be lowering your head down or bringing your head forward, depending on what your positioning is. And it's going to go, and you're going to have those handles go right on the outside of your temples. All right, so you want to make sure that your arms stay as steady as possible with this exercise. A lot of people like to move those elbows, and there actually are different variations to the skull crusher. You can actually see that here on our channel, as well as our various social media platforms. I'm everywhere when it comes to showing people how to do TRX movements. So check us out there. But for now, we're going to be talking about keeping those elbows in place, just bending those elbows like an air traffic controller. Literally, those elbows go straight back or those hands go straight back as those elbows remain in place, and you'll really feel those triceps. One thing you want to be focused on here is trying to keep those shoulders down. So one thing that's not necessarily being targeted, however, is used is your lats. You're using your lats, engaging those lats, and that's going to pull your shoulders down so that you don't get an extra assistance from your shoulders. It isolates those triceps. Pretty tough when you get to after 5 when you do it that way. So enjoy those. Next exercise, we're going to go back into our body. All right, we're going to be going back into the core. So we're going to be doing what's called a PEC Fly. All right, going right into those pectorals again. So you're going to be bringing those arms out. A lot of people think that with this exercise, the longer, the wider you can go with your arms, the better. Not necessarily true. The reason for that being is that if you go out too wide, then you're actually putting the stress of the movement on your joints rather than in your muscles. So you want to have a slight bend in your elbows. You don't want to have a locked elbow. You don't want to bring your hands out as far as you can. You want to have a slightly bent elbow like you're trying to hug a humongous bear. The thing about a lot of exercises, actually all exercises, when you're trying to grow muscle, the goal is to try to work that eccentric phase, meaning the elongating of the muscle. So when we're doing a pec fly, you want to focus on going out slowly, really trying to isolate those pecs. The slower you can go, the more you're controlling that movement through your pecs, and the more you're actually growing the muscles. And as you're coming in with your hands, don't worry so much about the speed you're coming in. Obviously, you don't want to look like you're flying like a bird, but don't worry so much about the concentric or the tightening or the shortening of those muscles. All right, even though it might look cool because you're flexing your pecs as you're doing it, it's not necessarily doing as much work as, or it's not as effective, I should say, as the eccentric phase in building your muscles. All right, and our final exercise is very similar to exercise I had named earlier, and we're going to be talking about a bicep curl. Starting with your arms pretty much at full extension, like a row, except for the only difference is instead of bending your elbows into your rib cage, you're going to bend your elbows so your hands go towards your temples. So it's a combination of that mid row I spoke of earlier and the opposite of the skull crusher, right? As you know, the skull crusher, you're going to be bending those elbows towards your temples. This way, you're bending your elbows, except for instead of pushing or lowering yourself down, you're pulling yourself up and getting those elbows, getting those hands to your temples. Now, I just mentioned elbows, or almost said elbows, and I was thinking of the fact that yes, you got to keep those elbows up. You have to keep them in line with your shoulders. Otherwise, you're going to be using your front delts. You're going to be using your lats to be pulling yourself up. So you want to use your lats more rather than to pull yourself up. You want to have them drawn into your rib cage and drawn down into your spine, or drawn down into your rib cage and drawn into your spine. And you want to make sure that you get those arms out to full extension. So again, you can work that eccentric phase, build those biceps, and then pull that body up while keeping the core, aka abs and lower back, engaged. All right, so that does it for this this group of muscles. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Again, if you want to go back, I think I put the video link earlier on in this somewhere down below in the description or up above. But you can go back and check out our last video on back and biceps using the TRX. All right, thanks again for watching. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, leave them down below in the comment section. We definitely love to have your feedback. Of course, you can click on that subscribe button. If you click on it, you'll be notified when the next video like this comes out. And of course, I do appreciate you watching. And as always, keep good company.
Wow! I like it. That was cool.
Awesome. Hey, thanks.